Hey there, I'm Onnie, a self-care coach who's all about helping busy, people-pleasing moms release the do-it-all, be-it-all mentality. Let's talk about how you can know yourself, love yourself, and be yourself in all the hats you wear these days. So today we are talking about expectations. Again, I'm Onnie Michalsky. I am a self-care coach for busy moms, moms that struggle to let go of that do-it-all, be-it-all mentality, and I help them give themselves permission to know themselves, love themselves, and be themselves. This is really fitting that we are talking about expectations today. And if you are on this, if you do jump in here, let me know you're watching. It should show up on my phone. I've already shut down my computer, but I should be able to see it on the phone. But this is really fitting that I'm talking about expectations because I really kind of defied my expectations this week. If you notice, I got my nose pierced. And this was something that I've been wanting to do for probably the last 6 months. Both of my two older teenage daughters have their nose pierced, and it's so funny because my oldest, when she got it done, she got it the day after she turned 18, and she was still living with us. And I remember her she was so afraid to tell us that she got her nose pierced. So it was kind of like she was, exerting her freedom that she was officially 18, but she was still so afraid because she knew she supposed that we had these certain expectations of her, and piercing her nose kind of wasn't in the thing. So she got her nose pierced, and then our second oldest, who's 17 right now, she got her nose pierced. She did it herself because that's just what she does. She pierced all her ears herself. She just does that. And so I've been talking about it, and the kids just kept rolling their eyes, and it was almost a joke in our house. Yeah, sure, Mom. You're really going to get your nose pierced. And it's just something in our house growing up, which is a lot where we learn what our own expectations are about motherhood, about life. It's all of those beliefs that we hold. A lot of them stem from our experiences growing up. And so growing up, we didn't get our nose, we didn't get our nose pierced. No, we definitely did not get our nose pierced. No tattoos, no nose piercings. My ears, could not get them pierced until I was 13, which I still follow that rule now with my own kids. And that's mainly just because of a responsibility and being able to care for it. And it gives them something to look forward to. But that's something, that we do, that I have carried on. But there's some expectations that I can choose not to, I can choose to let go of. And I'm going to get into this in a minute, but that nobody expected me to get my nose pierced. And I dropped my one daughter off. She had an appointment, and I dropped her off, and I'm I'll be right back to pick you up. And she goes, where are you going? And I'm going to go get my nose pierced. And we just laughed. She just looked at me, and I was I'm serious. I'd already found out, I already called the place and found out if I could do a walk-in, or if I could do if I needed an appointment, how much, all of that. I already got the dirt. And so I was planning on going. But even as I went into the place, I wanted to get it. And up until the point where the lady put the piercing in my nose, which hurt horribly, but even up to that point, I said to the lady, am I too old for this? I was still having those self-doubts. And that's the thing, we are expected to act a certain way, to, be a certain size, all of these things from either experiences that we've had younger that have been reinforced. Culture is a huge thing that we're expected to be a certain way. So up to the moment that I actually got a pierce, I was still having those self-doubts, and I still, pushed through them. I pushed through them. I pushed those doubts down, and that's the thing. It was a choice. It was a conscious, I recognized them, which is what we're going to talk about today, is identifying and determining what your expectations are. But I recognized them, but I didn't let them stop me. I pushed past them, and I got it done. And even, when I picked up my little ones from school, they started laughing. They thought I was playing a joke on them and that I had a sticker, which I told them that I'm yeah, I put a sticker, I glued it on, because they're can we feel it? And I'm no, it's glued on. I finally told them the truth, but they were still like in awe that I would have like, so my 11-year-old, she goes, Mom, you had like your normal mom life and now you're turning into the crazy mom. And that's what she said to me. And it made me giggle because I was like, okay, so I'm entering my second. Maybe this is a midlife crisis and maybe whatever. But it's something that I've been wanting for a while. And I'm like, I have really been working hard on, loving myself and caring for myself and this whole self-care movement. And I'm like, you know what? Why not? YOLO, you only live once. And why am I bending to expectations that not only that my kids and like my family's holding on me, but that I'm holding on myself? And I am making more conscious decisions like that, recognizing that these expectations are no longer serving me. Some of them are darn stressful, right? Like we hold these expectations like we got to have dinner on the table at a certain time, or we have to wear a certain outfit, or we have to like be momish, or whatever it is, right? And they are stressful. It's because some nights dinner doesn't get on the table at 5 p.m. That was what Holly is one of the members of my group, and that is what she said one of her expectations was, that she had to break through. She had to realize, that dinner, it's life is still going to go on. And not only is it going to go on, but it's actually going to be better when you give yourself that permission to relax or even diminish those expectations. But first you have to identify them in order to question them. And so whether it's getting dinner on the table or, driving a certain car or, say size, that's a big thing, especially with me because I have been like gaining a bit of weight and, struggling. I'm constantly struggling with my weight, even though I was able to, for 10 years, hold a manageable weight, a weight that was healthy and that I liked anything. So size, like getting over that expectation, like I have to, be a certain way or be a certain size in order to love myself. And it's so not true. It's so not true, but it held me back for years. And it's still a struggle. It's not like, this is a process. This isn't something that you wake up and you have that confidence to be able to break through those expectations. It's not. It's a process. You grow, you start small and you build that confidence, just like any way you build confidence, right? Like if you felt insecure or, you didn't think that you were a good speaker, you would go and you'd speak in front of just one person and then two people and then so on, small groups. And then until you're speaking, you've gotten the confidence to be able to speak in, to a room full of thousands or whatever it is that you are wanting to do. It's those expectations that are holding you back from meeting your goals. And I'm all about like making goals and having that bucket list and all of the things that you want to do as a mom or as a woman, not even as a mom, because a lot of mine have the things on my bucket list have nothing to do with being a mom, except for the fact that I want to bring my family on another cruise because that was super fun. So like goals like that, of course it has to do with my family. But the other things on my bucket list have to do with me, being me and growing into and busting those expectations and saying, just because I'm a mom or just because I'm a certain size or just because I'm 44 doesn't mean that I can't do what it is that I want to do. And so I have to look at, you have to look at those expectations. You have to determine what it is that you believe and then question them. So write them down. And that was another thing that Holly had said, that I just mentioned, that Holly had said before when I was talking to her last night, was writing down your expectations. And that goes with, I love writing things down. And so I love that advice because writing it down really helps you dig deeper. You can get it out of your mind. You can do that brain dump and you can start questioning. You see it in black and white. And that's the first, that's one of the steps of seeing something from a different perspective. And that's what it takes in order to shift those beliefs and those expectations, is to see it doesn't have to be this way, right? Like you believe something for so long that you don't question it because it's just how it always was. right? That expectation that you're holding is just what you've always believed. And so the first step is to identify that expectation. What are the expectations you hold? And one of the ways that I have found has been helpful is to ask yourself, a good mom, ... Like complete that sentence. What does it take to be a good mom or a good wife or a woman, a 44-year-old woman or whatever age you are, like is supposed to be like what, right? Like what are the stereotypes or what are you holding in your mind that defines that person, right? And then say, do I really need to be ... Do I really need to do ... Like whatever that is, start questioning it. And then ask yourself, like, other moms, other women and other that are breaking through those expectations. What do you think it's taking them? It's that confidence and that strength and just being scared, because breaking expectations is scared. Do you think I first, I'm still scared for my mom to see this. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I'm 44 years old, live across the country from her, but I'm like, you know what? I'm owning it because it is me. It is me. It's something I've wanted to do, and I'm done with letting these expectations that I hold of myself define me. I can change them. And that's the thing. You can change them. You do not have to let these expectations hold you back. That is my big takeaway for this Facebook Live, is to first determine what are those expectations you're holding, and then make that choice. If they're not serving you anymore, let them go, because you can. You absolutely can, and your life will be so much better. Your family, that stress will just come off of you. Like when you're feeling stressful, like if thinking that, you have to cook a 5-course meal at dinner. That's what Holly had mentioned that example, and I can't get it out of my mind. Like, because that was something that I had to really struggle. That was something that I struggled with as well, is, what makes a good wife and a good mom. And it's having, and I grew up with the meat and the starch and the vegetables and like this whole idea of what a dinner needs to look like. And it's so silly now that I'm thinking about it, but that's not, just because that was how it was growing up doesn't mean I'm not letting my past dictate my future. I make the rules here. It's my life. And so my family, they're going to benefit from that, because I'm not going to be so stressed out having this has to be a certain way, or I have to do this a certain way. Like when you can step back and see that there's a different way to do something, then it's going to be an easier way, and you're going to feel less stress. And that feeling less stress, a happy mom, or what is it? A happy wife makes a happy life, basically, whatever that saying is. It's true. Your whole family's going to benefit from having a mom, a wife that is less stressed, right? Can we agree on that? Nobody likes being around a person who's anxious or thinking everything has to be cleaned exactly a certain way and all of that. Those are the expectations that I want you to write down. Holly gave the advice of, and ranking them from 0, being non-realistic, to 10 being the most realistic, right? Looking at them, examining each one of those expectations and determining how realistic is that. Is there evidence against that expectation or that belief, right? Say if I'm just going to go back to that dinner one. If you hold that expectation, a good wife should have dinner on the table every night at 5:00. I want you to look around, right? Just look around at that's why it's a good thing to be in this group and to be connected with other moms, because you can look around. There are plenty of good moms, right? And we're not saying that they're good mom versus bad mom, but there's plenty of moms that don't have dinner on the table at 5 p.m. every night, a 5-course meal, and their family is thriving, right? They're enjoying life. They are able to spend quality time with their family. They're not stressed out and trying to do everything perfect. Right? So that's just one piece of evidence that points against that expectation isn't serving you anymore. And there's different ways there's a different way to do it. There's lots of different ways, right? But it's believing that you're going to be okay. Believing that, all of the things that you're taking care of, all of the people that you're going to take care of are not only going to be okay, but are going to be better off when you're able to shift those expectations. And so I hope that something that I said to you today resonated with you. Please let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay, if it makes sense to you, if anything I said, if you have questions, and all of that.